All right, so if you're watching this demonstration video, it means you'd like to do a little practice before you dive into your final draft digital drawing project, which I think is a wise choice. So I'm going to use this simple sphere with highlights and shadows in it to show you how to successfully blend different tones like lights and darks in your digital drawing. So let's dive in. All right, so remember, to get started, we need a black outline. Before we do that, um, I'm actually going to grab my midtone, like I showed you in my original demonstration. So I can just choose a gray kind of in the center here. And then I need to add a shape. You can change the size of this. It doesn't have to be perfect because it's just practice. So let go of it where you want it. Double tap, get rid of it. And then with your finger or stylus, just hold the center. And it gives you a solid gray circle. All right, if you hide that, you can see the original sphere. Then we need to map out where the lights and darks go. So in my demonstration with the face, I use one color for the lights, another color for the darks, just so I can kind of keep them separate. On something as simple as this, I think we only need to really use one color. So I'm going to choose, let's go with lime green. And let's see, my brush should be around a 4. I get moved to a 3.5, but I'm going to just come in here and circle the highlight, the brightest area, and I'm just going to build some circles going around this. And once you get to the edge right here, you can just stay on that edge and continue making larger ovals going around. If you make a terrible oval, just reverse it and keep working. But remember, this is practice, so you don't have to obsess over the exact shapes here. And you're just going to keep going until you run out of space. Just like that. And that last one might not be necessary because that's the edge of the sphere. And that's going to kind of map out my different shadows. So from here, I'm going to add another drawing layer. Or I guess you can just work on this gray circle right here. And you're going to grab the original color. And then if you start somewhere in the middle and you want to work with the highlights, you're just going to get a little bit lighter. You're going to change the tone down there to a little bit lighter. I'd say the mid-tone was somewhere around here. So I'm going to go around that area, fill it in, and it fills that scenario in, that circle in a little bit lighter. Then I'm going to change it and get even lighter and go to the next circle. Trace that around. Make sure you complete your circle, hold in the center, and then that changes. Then bring the tone up even lighter. And you're going to keep moving in. You don't have to trace your original blobs perfectly, but you're slowly getting lighter and lighter towards that center. And finally, it's going to be super bright in this area right here. I'm actually going to go out a little bit further. That way I can add my little highlight right in here. All right, and if you want to get darker, I'm just going to grab my original tone again. I'm going to darken it. And let's see, I'm going to work right in this area. Oops, that's a little windy. And these green lines they're pretty much just a guide. You don't have to follow them exactly. I'm actually going to do this whole shape here and fill it in. And then get it a little bit darker from there. Make it a little bit smaller. I don't like that line. And remember, this is just practice. You don't have to make things perfect. And then maybe I'll finish up with some super dark areas right in here. I'm going to get rid of the green lines, and I can see I totally messed up some of these areas, so I can just kind of draw in the spots I totally destroyed. And like I said before, it's practice, so it doesn't really matter. You can kind of clean that up a little bit. All right, the next step is actually blending this out. But if you zoom out from this, you can tell it still looks like a sphere with a highlight and a shadow. And if you want to blend, remember, if I want to start in with the highlights here, start in the highlights and blend these out and slowly move my way out, you're going to grab a color. I'm going to grab the light color to start with. I'm going to zoom in, and the key is taking your opacity way down to about 20-ish or so, and you're going to blend around that area. If the dark area is coming in a little bit too much, grab the light area and work your way out the other way. And as you can see, it kind of just it makes that line here just disappear. And if I want to move out, I'm going to grab this color again and work my way out this way. And if I change my color, it'll show you exactly what I'm doing here. I'm just making continuous marks and lines around this line right here so that it kind of blends it out. So that's what it looks like. It's tough to see without the color, but you can slowly see it blend as we go. So pick the color next to it, make sure the opacity is down, and blend away. Don't worry about it being perfectly smooth. This is a digital drawing. It'll add a little character if it's not perfect. If I'm bringing that light area out too much, maybe I want to grab the darker area and work my way back in. Totally up to you. And just kind of smoothen up, polish up that harsh line. All right, moving out to this area, you're going to do the same thing, and you just kind of work your way out. And remember, this is just practice. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to bring my brush up a little bit. And your goal here is just to get rid of that harsh line. I'm going to bring the opacity up a tad just to make this process a little bit faster. And then bring it down to polish it up a little bit more. And if you zoom out from here, it's way smoother. You can still kind of see all the brush strokes when you're that close, but when you bring it out, it's a lot smoother. So why don't you go ahead and practice that before you dive into your final draft drawing, and we'll go from there. All right, so here's my finished sphere after doing some blending. I didn't spend a ton of time on it. I'm sure I could polish up a little bit more, but you can kind of see the difference. When I zoom in a little bit, you can see all the soft, subtle blended areas. You don't see those harsh lines anymore. So why don't you try this out, see how it goes. If you have any questions, you know where to find me, and good luck. Thank you.